Yo guys, what's going on everybody? It's Joey here. Welcome back to another review video. In today's video, we will be reviewing the DOS Keyboard X50Q. In today's review video, we will be going over the idea of the keyboard, the build quality, the switches, the sound test, pros and cons of the keyboard, and my thoughts overall if you should buy it or not. However guys, before I do get into the review, I want to be 100% honest with you guys, and I just want to let you know that DOS actually sent me this keyboard for free. However, I will be giving my genuine thoughts about this keyboard, so if I think there's any flaws, I will be pointing it out, and I will be 100% unbiased and just give my genuine and real overall opinions and thoughts on this keyboard. Anyways guys, before I do get into the video, please feel free to drop a like and subscribe. If not, that's completely okay. Also, let me know in the comments down below if you guys are thinking about buying this keyboard. Let me know if I convinced you to or to not pick up the keyboard. So yeah, anyways, let's get right into the video. Anyways guys, let's get on to the first part of the video, and that will be the idea of this keyboard. This keyboard is actually not a normal keyboard, as it is a smart keyboard, so you can program any key on this keyboard to literally anything you want, and it's pretty convenient. For example, let's just say you wanted to pull up the weather, right? You can bind the weather to the 5 key in the software, and all you guys need to do to pull up the weather is just press the 5 to pull it up, and then you can just press it again to close it. This is very helpful to people who are working and they need to open multiple things up without taking that extra time to. So you can do it very quickly and efficiently. I personally don't have much of anything binded to the keyboard, or the key switches, so I don't have too much experience with it. I know it works just fine though, because I've tested it out myself. Obviously guys, even if you're not doing work, this keyboard is great for gaming, as it's marketed as a keyboard that is great for both gaming and work. This is a 100% keyboard, meaning it has the numpad on the side, and every key that you have, obviously besides macro keys, which would be on the left to the right side. But yes, this is a 100% keyboard. Next up guys, getting into the build quality, and let me say this is probably the solidest keyboard I have ever felt personally. I also have the Razer Huntsman Mini, the Corsair K71, the Red Dragon Draconic, and a few other less known brand keyboards, and this by far, in my opinion, is just so much more solid of a keyboard than any of the other ones when it comes to build quality. This keyboard comes in at 3.5 pounds, so yeah, it's pretty heavy. It is really heavy. The top face is aluminum, so it is, it's pretty solid. However, the back of the keyboard is made out of very hard plastic. You guys can also see that they added pretty easy to take off faceplate with the little screws in the front. You can see 4 screws on the bottom underneath the keycaps. Bit different. I think they did it to be a little bit more unique, but it looks pretty cool. I can see how some people might not like it, but I personally think it looks alright, so yeah. Alrighty guys, so the only thing that I noticed about this keyboard that a lot of people I don't think notice, I don't know if it's just my keyboard in specific, or if other people had this issue, but if you look real closely where the white is underneath the keycaps, that's like the bottom of the actual faceplate in the keyboard, we can tell that the middle is actually raised higher than the edges. So yeah, I don't know why that is. Like, if we look at the side of the keyboard, it's not like that. It's only internally, like inside the keyboard case, so I'm not sure why it kind of has like a middle arc. The left side seems a little bit lower than the right side. You can see a spacebar slightly uneven, so I'm not sure why that is, but it still is pretty solid. It doesn't affect performance when typing, so I'm not sure what that's about, but it's a little bit weird, something to keep in mind. Disregarding that complaint though, I'd have to say the build quality on this keyboard is actually phenomenal. It is great. Once again, I'm not completely sure what the little arc's about, but it's a pretty solid keyboard overall. Alrighty guys, so let's get into the next subject, and that will be switches. Now guys, DAS does make keyboards with Cherry MX switches. However, these switches right here are unique to this keyboard and the Q series. They are called Gamma Zulu switches, and they are tactile, so there's a little tactile bump. I will get into a sound test in a few minutes, but first I just want to talk about the keycaps and the switches themselves. Alright, so first of all guys, these switches can last up to 100 million keystrokes, so that's top of the line, even keyboards now. Since this keyboard was released a little while ago, it's not too up to date. However, it does get updated in its software, and once again guys, 100 million keystrokes is pretty much unbeatable compared to any other keyboard as well. Now guys, DAS does include some extra silver keycaps in the box as well as a keycap puller. Now guys, I don't know if you can see in the plastic, but the keycaps actually do have a little bit of like texture that you can feel on it, so it feels pretty nice and it's just a little bonus, I guess. Now guys, I am recording with the phone. I know I'll get better recording equipment hopefully soon, but this is what the switch looks like underneath with the keycap pulled off. And now there might be a little bit of like flashing on my camera. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's because I'm recording on a phone. However, me looking at the switch itself, there is no little like flashing like that. Once again, I don't know if you can see on the phone, but there is like a little center square, and it's pretty interesting to see because when I press the keycap down, the little thing in the middle stays raised. So it's a very unique switch. I've not seen too many switches like this. Now, I don't want to compare it to a membrane switch. However, in my opinion, it looks very similar if you take off the keycap. But I know for a fact it's not membrane switch. It is their, in fact, Gamma Zulu switch, and it's pretty, once again, unique to this keyboard. I also think it's pretty cool how like the lighting comes from the center of the key, the key, which is pretty cool as well. Now guys, I am going to be talking about the lighting a little bit later in the video, and some of you might not like it, what I have to say about that. Now guys, it also looks pretty cool underneath the keycaps. Now, if you're going to get a different set of keycaps for this keyboard, you're going to need some really unique ones because I have not seen any bottom keycap look like that. So you're going to need to find very unique keycaps if you do not like the keycaps that come with it. They're also pretty annoying to put on, as it's pretty hard to line up. You also have to press it in pretty hard, so just to let you guys know that as well. Also, the keycap puller is pretty nice. It's basic, you know, it's just a keycap puller. It works fine. As I've said before, guys, these are tactical switches. Now, I'm going to let you in on something personal to me when I first opened and typed on this keyboard. Now, when I first took it out, I was before this keyboard, I was using a Corsair K71 LP, so low profile Cherry MX speed switches, and so that's a linear switch, and I also use a Razer Huntsman Mini with purple optical switches, so that was tactile. And let me just tell you guys this right now, it did not feel like either one. It almost felt like a membrane key switch. Now once again, I'm going to show you guys how I know it's not a membrane key switch in just a moment. However, when I first typed on it, it did remind me of a membrane key switch. Membrane switch. However, guys, if I'm going to compare the sound and the feeling to a Cherry MX switch, I'd compare it to Cherry MX Browns. Because when I feel it, I can definitely feel that little tactile bump. Alrighty, guys, so on to me knowing for a fact that this is not a membrane key switch. We can tell because on a membrane key switch, when you press the key down, it bottoms out. And in order for you to type another key in, you have to let it all the way go back up. So you can't just try to like type a little bit on the bottom without lifting the key all the way back up. The key has to go all the way up and back down again for you to type on it. Now, if we look at this keyboard / key switch individually, we can see that we can raise it a little bit and like type on it instead of having to lift the key all the way back up to press on it. And it will actuate, guys, so you can literally just lift the key up a little bit like that. And it will still activate. So yeah, they are not membrane key switches. I did look at other reviews on what people had to say, and some people are saying they're membrane key switches. They are not membrane key switches, guys. They are indeed Gamma Zulu switches, which is once again unique to DAS. Now, one more thing about the key switches before I get into the typing test. Now, I have had this keyboard for about 3 days now, and I'm gonna be honest, the first time I ever typed on it, I did not like it. I'm going to be completely honest. I took it out of the box. I was so hyped for it. I typed on it, and I was just not the biggest fan. However, the next day, I started to like it a little bit more. And today, as I've been typing on it while doing some work, I did realize that I am enjoying, or I'm starting to enjoy the key switches a lot more than I did before. I think the reason I didn't like it when I first opened it is because it feels a lot different compared to your typical, Cherry MX switch. So yeah, I did not mean that the key switches are bad in any way, because I do like them. They don't feel like your typical key switch, so they'll definitely take some time to get used to. But yeah. Alrighty, guys, so now into the much anticipated switch sound test. So let's get into that. Sorry guys if that was not the best sound test. If it is indeed pretty like hard to hear, I will go back and include a card of a better typing sound test, and it will be posted unlisted, so you guys can click on that and hear what the keyboard sounds like as well. Once again guys, I will only be including that if I think the sound test does not sound good. Now something I forgot to mention earlier, and I just noticed while I was typing again, is when I press a keycap, there is a little bit of rattling slash like a metal tinging sound. So I guess you guys can hear what I mean by this when I press keycap. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that, but there's a bit of like a little, you can definitely hear the stabilizers, like the spring inside. It does not sound too pleasant. I had the same issue with my Razer Huntsman Mini, so I'm not a huge fan of that. It is what it is. It's not too noticeable. However, it's definitely, in my opinion, the most prominent with the spacebar. The rest of the keys don't have that much problem, or that much of a problem with that is, the spacebar does, but it's just, worth to mention because it can be annoying, so you guys might want to try to find, like, different stabilizers or something like that, but yeah. Once again, guys, that's just me being a little bit nitpicky. If you're really listening, you will be able to hear it, but if you're just overall kind of like, just typing and, listening to your keyboard, you won't notice it, but once again, if you are listening into it, you will notice it. Alrighty, guys, so let's get into the pros and cons of this keyboard, both which have not been mentioned yet. Now, the first pro that I forgot to mention is the detachable wrist rest. Now, it does come with a wrist rest. This thing is pretty nice. It's called Soft Touch. It's not exactly like memory foam or anything your hand kind of like sinks into. It's more for your wrist to kind of just be there. It's like plasticky. It has a bit of like texture on it. However, the only problem with that is oil getting on it, which I can definitely see being a problem. I haven't had it long enough to really experience that problem, but right now it's looking pretty good. Yeah, so once again, it's hard plastic. You can kind of hear it when I knock on it. It's detachable, so if you're not a wrist rest person or you just don't like them, or you just don't like this one specific, you guys can take it off. Now another pro is the little volume knob here. We can turn the volume up and down using this little knob here. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's nothing premium. It's just like, it's your normal keyboard knob. Like any keyboard that has a volume dial kind of feels the same. It also is clickable, so I guess if you want to, you can go in DAS's software and bind a key to that. Not sure why you'd want to, but you can. Oh yeah, one cool thing that I forgot to mention about the little knob is that when you press it in, it actually will take or pull up DAS's keyboard software, and if you press it again, it'll take it off. So it's really convenient, really fast. Now guys, another pro of this keyboard is the build quality. Now once again, I already kind of went over this, so I'm not going to talk about too much, but this keyboard is solid, and it's not going to break unless you drop it or just slam it on something. It is solid, and yeah. Another pro of this keyboard is the keycaps. Now, I really do like the keycaps. They are pretty strong. Like, if I squeeze them, they don't like flex or bend or anything like that. If I move it around on the keyboard, they have a little bit of wobble, which literally every keyboard has, even top tier. It's supposed to have that. If they're just stiff and they don't move, then there's a problem. Now guys, getting into the first con, and that will have to be the font on the keycaps. Now, when you're typing sitting down, it is a little bit hard to see. Once again, I don't know if my camera will focus in or not. It is a little bit hard to see the font, and they're all capitalized. So I know I saw a lot of reviews on, a lot of people did not like the font, of the keycaps, and they are a little bit hard to see when typing, but nothing untypable or like something like so bad that you can't use. It also is missing the Windows key. Obviously, it works as the Windows key, but they just replaced it with the DAS keyboard symbol, probably because it costs a little bit of extra money for them to put the Windows key on there. Alrighty guys, so on to the con that I know for a fact will have a lot of people mad slash disappointed, and myself also feeling that way, and that is the RGB. Now this keyboard, believe it or not, is a big shock for some people. It actually does not have true RGB coloring, or I meant to say lighting. So you can only have solid colors or program each key to move, like, kind of flow or breathe individually. So yeah, it's not the most great thing to hear in the world, but it is what it is. Now guys, when I tell a lot of people it does not have RGB, they assume that it doesn't have lighting, and obviously you can see it still has lighting. I can change it to any color I want, and once again, I can easily go in and individualize each key to different effects. It just does not have that cool like rainbow flow that other keyboards do have. This keyboard also has like little glow things, like little LEDs on the sides of the keyboard as well. You can customize in the DAS keyboard software. So that's pretty cool that a lot of keyboards don't have as well. Something I like about these as well is that you can actually individually change the colors of both sides. So yeah. So overall, I'm gonna have to put it in cons just because it doesn't have true RGB like it brands it does have. I'm also pretty sure they have that little like white background in the keyboard to make the glow more stand out, which looks pretty nice too. So I'm appreciative of that. Once again, guys, another con is that little like hump in the middle, which we talked about earlier. My last little nitpick, I guess you could say, in the cons would be the little unevenness in some of the keys. They're a little bit like uneven. Some are a little bit taller than the other ones, or shorter, or like bent a little bit. It's nothing like too noticeable, but you can definitely notice if you stare at it for a long enough time. I'm sorry guys, I really forgot to mention in the pros section, obviously the software, which I don't want to talk about too much because I'm not the best with it. So I'm thinking I'm going to make a follow-up video separately from this one and go over just through the software, because there's just so much to it. There's so many software customizations you can have, including even notifications. You guys can have on keyboard notifications, so you can set to your keys, so if you get a notification, a key will like glow or light up or blink or something like that. So once again, there is a lot of customization ability with this keyboard that a lot of other keyboards just don't have. Now guys, the final con I have, which might actually be a big con for a lot of other people, is the price. Now this is a big issue with other keyboards as well as this one. This keyboard is $200, and once again, I got it for free. DAS sent it to me. I am very appreciative of that. And by the way, DAS, if you're watching this and you want to send me any other keyboards to review, I would be more than happy to do so. But yeah, the price, it's definitely expensive. However, if you guys do have that extra money that you can spend, or are looking to pick up a keyboard that is good quality for a price that you can afford, if you have a little bit of extra money, and you guys are looking for a keyboard you can both work on and game on, I'd have to go with this keyboard. So that kind of answers my should you buy it. I'd say yes. I think this keyboard is a great deal. It is very different from other keyboards. The software is just so much more complicated than any other keyboard software, and I think for the price, if you're getting a pre-built keyboard, it's pretty worth it. I love this keyboard. I'm gonna type on it for a few more days, and if I like it, it's gonna be my my new main keyboard. So we'll see how that goes. So anyways guys, let me know in the comments if this helped you out, and if you guys are going to subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate that. If you guys are picking the keyboard up, please let me know in the comments and how you thought I did with this review. Obviously I don't have too many like sophisticated cameras or microphones, so it might not sound or look the best, but hopefully I gave you content you guys can make a decision about with purchasing or not purchasing this keyboard. Anyways guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Real quickly guys, one thing I forgot to mention is the packaging, and personally I think the packaging is fine. So if you guys are having this shipped from far away, or just worry about the package breaking, I have confidence to say that it will not break. They packaged it very well. As you can see, it's very secure. And actually it's some styrofoam in there that I took out, or styrofoam like material that protected the keyboard and the palm rest. So feel free to keep in mind guys that your keyboard will be safe upon delivery if that's what you're worried about. And yeah, be patient guys, it might take a little bit to get there, or get to where you are. It only took, I think, them, I want to say 2 or 3 days for it to get to my house. If you guys have any other questions or anything about this keyboard, let me know in the comments, and yeah, peace out everybody.